Hey YouTube, it's Dead Review, and this episode we're going to do a recap on The Walking Dead.
Season 5, Episode 3, Four Walls and a Roof.
Anyway, so it starts off, Garrett is eating Bob with his group of termites, the leftover termites.
And he's like saying that girls taste better, pretty girls like Sasha, and then, Bob starts laughing hysterically, and then termites are like confused.
And Bob yells, "You idiots, tainted meat, I'm tainted meat, you fools." Basically saying you guys are all eating my zombie flesh. And the group throws up, they're all grossed out, they're gagging.
And Gareth's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, homies, I cooked it already, no problem."
And then Garrett knocks Bob's ass out. They didn't want to kill him, they wanted to put him on the grass in front of the church. So the next day, Rick's group, they're blaming the priest for everything going on, because they think that the priest has something to do with Daryl and Carol as well as Bob missing. And then there's a whistle outside.
And they look outside and then they see Bob there with his leg cut off. He tells them what happened and that Daryl and Carol took off and the termites were watching them the whole damn time.
And we noticed that when he got dropped off there was a red A painted on the church. And we don't know what that means. It can just be a sign for the hunters, but I mean, it could mean anything, like avenging, anarchy, assholes. I really don't know. I don't think anybody really does.
And then he tells them that he's infected, and then they lay him on the couch, and Sasha comforts him, and it's so sad.
I know, it is sad. And Bob finally tells them that Garrett knew that Carol and Daryl they drove off in some car, so now the group has a little bit of peace of mind knowing that Daryl and Carol aren't in danger. Well, so we think.
Yeah, and knowing that Abraham says that it's time to leave, and Rick's like, "We're not gonna leave without Daryl and Carol." So he's like, "I'm gonna take that fucking bus if you don't freaking go right now." And then he gives them 12 hours to find them, or else he'll leave with Maggie, Glenn, and Tara.
Yeah, Maggie and Glenn, which are like two people from the very beginning. They've been with Rick, and now they're gonna leave, and it pisses me off. Anyway, so Bob's nearing the end. He tells Sasha that it's always been about the end, and that he really likes the middle, which is the point where he finally met her. He was at the prison. He finally felt like he was at home, because before, remember, he was suicidal. And now, I mean, look at him. He has no leg, and he's dying. So the middle part was the best part of his life.
Yep, and Rick and the other group, or like a couple of them, they set out to look for Daryl and Carol, and then the termites break in, and then of course no one's covering Judith's mouth.
I mean,
the
people there is just Carl, Rosita, Tyrese, Judith, Eugene, Bob,
Glenn.
The useless priest. Glenn's not there. He went with them.
He did?
Yeah, he went with them. And Bethany said nobody's covering Judith's mouth. It's like a tongue twister.
I know.
And she starts crying, and of course, the psychopaths hear him.
And Rick and his group basically massacre them.
And it was so beast.
Part was so awesome. What's it called? I know, I felt so bad for Gareth. Like, I know he was a horrible person, but he was, I mean, not gonna lie, he was pretty hot.
He deserved it. You saw how he brought up the whole, we weren't like this before.
Yeah.
We were good people. He's just trying to save his life. He's gonna come back for them. They had to do it. I mean, if they were to let them walk, they were just gonna try to come back and kill him again. It's bound to happen.
Yeah, but you didn't think, for a moment that maybe he was gonna be in that season longer?
You heard him tell Bob that, I'll do this to anybody, I mean, obviously, he's a psychopath. I mean, after what happened to them originally, and him and his mother and his brother, he just totally lost it. So I think he's just completely unstable, and Rick had to do what he did,
And the red-handled,
machete. That was beast. When I saw that, I was like, oh crap, what's gonna happen? And I realized it was red handle, and I was like, damn, Rick, get him. And, I mean, you know what pissed me off was that Tyrese, Tara, Glenn, and Maggie, they're all shocked, looking at him in disgust. Like, oh my god, what are you doing? You know what, assholes? He had to do this. He had to do this for you. If it wasn't for Rick keeping the group together like this, doing this, it could be Maggie next time. It could be Glenn next time. I mean, Rick ended it, He put an end to all this shit going on.
The hell he did. And then Michonne gets her katana back, which was... It was a beautiful moment, honestly.
I know, when she, like, pulled it up, she was like... Even though she said she didn't miss it.
Yeah, she said she didn't miss it. I was just like, yeah, freaking right, you didn't.
I remember when she was fighting Ridley and she tried pulling it out from behind her back and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
And she had to take out her gun or whatever.
Then, you know, poor Bob. He dies.
Yeah. A few hours later, Bob dies. And he told Rick something really, the best quote, I think, in the show yet.
Yeah, he says, nightmares end, but they don't end who you are. And I was just like, oh!
My next bio!
I know.
And
it was so deep.
That's when he slips away, and that's when Sasha starts crying on his body, and she was freaking me out because she was like hugging him while he was already dead, and I was like, don't do that. He's gonna wake up and bite you, and now you're gonna die. I was just like, don't do that. Just kiss him goodbye and just leave. Thank God Tyrese came in and, you know, stuck, a knife in his temple and killed him.
Hear a little Bob, squish, you know, and I was like,
loss. I know, a little squish. It was like, poor guy. You know, he was a nice character, good character. He only lasted like a season, but still, you know.
I cried, not gonna lie.
In memory. Bob. What'd you say, kebab?
Kebab. They made him into a kebab.
Anyway. So, from there, Abraham, Rosita, Tara, Glenn, Maggie, and Eugene, they all leave for DC, which was kind of pissing me off, because Glenn and Maggie leave. I know they kind of had to, but come on, Maggie is leaving her sister and didn't even say shit. She never once mentioned Beth. You know, she didn't ask.
She didn't even care.
Oh, do you think we should go find Beth now? She didn't say any of that. She just said, okay, bye, guys. You know, me and Glenn, we're going to make our new life now in DC. Like, they didn't even... She never once thought about her sister.
And then, like, after they leave, Rick opens up the map that Abraham gives him, and then it says, like, sorry for being an asshole. And, like, come to DC, we're gonna need Rick Grimes there, and...
That was so cute. I love that part.
Bromance right there.
Yeah, the little bromance. Anyway, so after that, they leave in the bus, and it's, like, nighttime. It's, like, the next day. And Gabriel accompanies Michonne outside, and they're sitting on the porch, and Gabriel's saying how he can't sleep because of what happened. And all of a sudden, they hear a noise in the woods, and Gabriel cowers like the...
He runs inside like a puss.
He, like, runs inside.
He's like,
fastest he ever ran. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Yeah. And then what happens, Bethany? What happens?
Then Michonne sees that it's Daryl, and then she's, like, looking around, and she's like, where's Carol? He doesn't say anything, and then all of a sudden, he's just like, come on out. And I'm just like, what? And then it just ends right there.
Yeah, I know, and it killed me, and then they had the promo afterwards, and, like, what is it, Beth is, like, in a hospital in Atlanta, and it's, like, there's people with, like, I guess there's this one scene where there's this lady with no arm, and then Beth gets bitch slapped. It's just, like, crazy, and, you know, who is the guy, who is a person with Daryl, like, who's coming out with him? Who do you think it is?
I don't know. Wait, what did you say that it was?
Well, I mean, there's Beth, but it doesn't make any sense because there's no way they went to Atlanta and then came back to wherever they are in that night. You know, it's kind of impossible. And then Carol, like, why would she be hiding out behind Daryl? I mean, unless something happened to her. Why would she be suppressed like that? You know, she's very strong now. Mm-hmm. So we think it's a new character. I mean, maybe a new guy, maybe someone Daryl found, but where's Carol at? You know, is she with Beth? If they found Beth? You know, what is that about? Maybe they parted ways? I don't know.
Why would they, though? It's just like...
I know, I don't understand why, but, I mean, I'm just trying to come up with an explanation. I don't know. That left me, and I was just like, oh my god. I wanted to watch the next episode, and I can't, so gotta wait for next weekend. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. Our question for you is, who do you think the person with Daryl was? You know, who's the mysterious character?
The show. Okay, so don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And,
adios.
Yeah.